Nigerians at home and in the diaspora. Let me tell you a story. This could be your story too. My name is Toyin Dawodu. 39 years ago, I left the shores of Nigeria at the urging of the Nigerian government. In a bold move to protect the future of Nigeria, the government decided to foot the bill for me and several thousand other promising young Nigerians to study abroad, with the expectation that we will acquire the skills needed to secure the ongoing global competitiveness of our great nation. Many more millions of bright Nigerians left Nigeria at their own expense, with the same goal: to acquire the necessary education so they can fulfill their dreams and the dreams of their parents for a better Nigeria. Those of us who left were not any smarter than those who remained in Nigeria. In fact, one of the hot button issues at that time was the fact that as a country, we simply didn't have the resources to provide a good education for everyone in Nigeria who wanted or needed an education. Our schools were packed with the sharpest minds Nigeria had to offer. Those of us who left home to study did so because the smarter students were studying in Nigeria and there was no room to educate the rest of us. Today, there are millions of Nigerians spread throughout the countries all over the world who are making substantial contributions to the growth and development of the countries where they live. These Nigerians have one thing in common. They all share a passion for peaceful, progressive, and secure Nigeria with infrastructures that will rival any developed nation's infrastructure. Most Nigerians yearn to go back home, but there's no home to go back to. The land that had so much promise just 30 years ago is fracturing under the weight of an incompetent roster of government officials and a constant barrage of rebels, terrorists who have taken over our cities, neighborhoods, and those of us who are living abroad. It's even hard to conjure up the will to go back home for a visit. For the past 5 years, I've gone home frequently because I was determined to accomplish two important goals. I wanted to spend as much time as I could with my aging mother in the years we have left together. Number two, I wanted to help Nigeria get power with a 24/7 electricity. I achieved my first goal. I returned home frequently and shared as much time with my mother as I could until her untimely death in 2013. Since then, however, my motivation to visit Nigeria has diminished. I simply can't justify going to a country where there is no electricity at night. The second goal eludes me because even though I've done my best to open Nigerians' eyes to the possibilities of 24/7 electricity, every effort has been rebuffed. But do not worry, I will not give up on Nigeria. We will power Nigeria. I believe once Nigeria has power, around the clock, Nigerian residents living abroad will be more than happy to go back home and do their part to rebuild Nigeria. But those of us in the diaspora, we can't come back. Not now. We can't do our jobs in darkness. We can't run our businesses in darkness or educate our children in darkness. For us, the cost of making a permanent move back to Nigeria is too great. Every morning when I wake up, I log on to Skype, join a meeting, and share my computer with my employees located in 5 countries on 3 continents. There are droves of qualified candidates in Nigeria with whom I would love to work, but I can't because Nigeria does not have electricity. Case in point, about 7 years ago, at the behest of my late mother, I created a job for my nephew and added him as part of my army of virtual team members. We did what we could for about 6 months, but I finally had to let him go because he couldn't deliver on any project on time because he didn't have access to a reliable source of electricity. He was a college graduate. And not only was he struggling with unemployment in Nigeria, but his lack of access to basic business tools made him unemployable. Such is the case for millions of Nigerians in the workforce. They have all the potential in the world, but lack access to necessary business tools. The result is countless lost opportunities. I send thousands of dollars into the economies of other countries by way of finding and employing talented contractors around the globe. I would love to include Nigerian employees, but doing so will be a bad investment right now. It's just not worth it. I'm not the only employer looking to hire smart Nigerians. Believe it or not, when I was growing up, Nigeria had 24/7 electricity. The tap water worked, and the roads were very good. Security problems, rebels, and kidnappings were unheard of. I am a proud father of 2 kids with bright futures. Why in the world will I take my son and my daughter to Nigeria when the country is so rife with problems that the government can't seem to or doesn't want to control? Don't get me wrong, I love Nigeria. And I know that with the right government, the right leadership, Nigeria will emerge as a great nation and take a place as the seat of Africa. But today, in the winter of 2015, my children deserve better than what Nigeria can offer them. I initially supported President Jonathan because I thought he would lead Nigeria back to our former glory, then quickly proceed to create a strategy that would take Nigeria and Nigerians to new heights of splendor. When President Jonathan initially contacted me to help him rebuild Nigeria, I was ecstatic and hopeful. I was optimistic. We quickly added one another on Facebook, and we were working towards the same goal. Or so I thought. I bought into his promises, but he never seemed to be able to deliver on any of them. He and I had a series of meetings scheduled, and after 4 months of dealing with the president's handlers and not the president, I withdrew my support and began sounding the alarm. I could see then that President Jonathan's heart was not with Nigeria. Even if he did have hopes and dreams for Nigeria, he was doing very little in the way of planning and strategizing to make those dreams a reality. Nigerians can see now what I've seen from the beginning. After 6 years in office, his administration has left Nigeria more corrupt, war-torn, and fractured than ever before. I have tried repeatedly to extend my hand to Jonathan's administration to no avail. Some Nigerians have accused me of being nothing more than a contract seeker. The truth is, I'm pulling for Nigeria in the most productive way I know how. Nigeria doesn't need me waving a flag and singing songs of hope. Nigeria needs someone who can send contractors over and fund one of the greatest governmental restructurings in recent history. If you live in the diaspora as a resident of the US, for example, the thing that makes us push for a better Nigeria is having the privilege of living in the world's greatest country. The US gives us a glimpse of what Nigeria could be under the right leadership. We owe our great lifestyles to our adopted country, but being able to look at the challenges Nigeria faces without having to live in Nigeria helps us to more clearly see the opportunities for progress. Here's our dilemma. The current Nigerian government doesn't want our help, doesn't want to hear our ideas or see our visions. So we must wait. We are waiting for a Nigerian government that is interested in progress, even if it takes a lifetime. So we must choose our leaders carefully. We need a Nigeria with 24/7 electricity. We need a Nigeria with good roads. We need a Nigeria with clean water, good education for our children, and good roads and good jobs for them once they finish school. These are not pipe dreams. Why would they be? This should be the reality of every hard-working Nigerian. This is what our forefathers dreamed, and we can achieve this dream if we can eliminate the obstacle of bad leadership. Now is not the time for wagging. Now is the time for decision making. It's time to vote. It's time to pull Nigeria up by our bootstraps and push her into the right direction. We must now admit to ourselves that what we've done for the last 6 years has not worked, and it's not working. We need to do something else. The promises our leadership made to us have not been fulfilled. It's been 6 years. It's time to elect a new leader who is as passionate about progress as we are. The forces that are pushing back against the terrorists trying to take Maiduguri should be rewarded with leadership that will fight for them, not leaders who cower in the corner while Boko Haram rapes and pillages our cities. It's election time, and that means Nigerians can vote to move forward, progress instead of run from terror. For those of us in the diaspora, voting for a Nigerian leader is still just a dream. Ironically, one of the promises President Jonathan made 4 years ago was to make it possible for Nigerians in the diaspora to retain their voting rights for the 2015 election. Surprise, surprise. He didn't come through on this promise either. So we are depending on you, the Nigerians living in Nigeria, to vote smart so we can come back home. If you Google my name, you'll see all the warnings I sounded in 2010 before Jonathan was ever elected as president. Does President Jonathan deserve to be re-elected? Has he done anything worth remembering that will lead us to believe he has anything to offer Nigeria in the immediate future? This is the question we need to ask ourselves about President Jonathan, as well as the current administration. That includes current senators, members of the House of Representatives, and governors. We need to ask ourselves if the ruling party deserves our support again, given their performance over the last 16 years. We need to treat Nigeria as a CEO will treat a new department manager, in that we should conduct a detailed audit of each candidate's character, capacity, and track record. Is the candidate capable of developing and implementing strategies? Does the candidate receive advice and instruction well, or will he turn a deaf ear to us? Can the candidate be trusted? Has he cultivated the type of track record that instills confidence in us, or does his track record make us question him? Is he strong enough to secure our protection, or will he roll over and leave us vulnerable and exposed, allowing any outside government to come in and steal our resources without so much as a fight? We need a Nigerian president who has his priorities in order. Someone who recognizes the value of Nigerian lives, not a president who sends condolences to the people of France while ignoring the legacies of thousands of Nigerians slaughtered on his doorstep. This kind of backward lapdog behavior is why Nigeria is the laughingstock of the whole world. It is why a parliamentarian in South Africa, Mr. Malele, found it necessary to question the very soul of our president and his staff. You may think I'm against the ruling party or just trying to dole out propaganda, but I know for a fact that under President Buhari, no nation will disrespect Nigeria, and no terrorist will harm Nigerians without paying a hefty price. I believe Nigeria's future prosperity is secure under the leadership of General Buhari. Not only do we have such a leader in Buhari, we have it in the governorship candidate for Lagos State. Lagos is the nerve center of Nigeria. It's our commercial center, the wealthiest state, and the most populous state. The economy of Lagos is larger than the combined economies of 32 African countries. Do we really want to hand the future of Lagos to some inexperienced pharmacist? Or do we want expertise of an experienced administrator who has been able to balance budgets for over 20 years? Do we want a neophyte or someone who has been part of a growth and development of Lagos as a local government and state employee? After laboring long under the leadership of mediocre officials, I believe it's time for Nigeria to reap the benefits that come with having effective, potent, functional leadership. I believe Akinwumi Ambode is the most qualified candidate to run the affairs of Lagos. Growth and development in Lagos have surpassed the growth and development of each and every Nigerian state over the last 16 years. We should not overlook the fact that we should give credit to the leaders who are so skilled at growing economies. Not only do we need them or give them proper credit, we need to seek their advice. Ambode was the Accountant General of Lagos when the PDP government seized Lagos State's federal allocation for over 2 years. Not only did he help balance the budget, he helped keep Lagos out of red. This is just the kind of leadership we need for such a vital state. As Nigerians, it's time for us to start thinking long-term. And long-term success starts with getting this national election right. So I urge every Nigerian, regardless of where you live in Nigeria, to call your friends and family in Lagos and urge them to vote for Ambode as the next governor of Lagos State. Regardless of your tribal affiliation, race, state, or national origin, if you're a resident in Lagos and you contribute to the growth and development of Lagos with your tax dollars, then you are a Lagosian with all the rights and privileges that come with being a Lagosian. This is Ambode's belief and part of his manifesto. We want a leader who does away with the self-limiting dogmatism of so-called state of origin. Let's embrace Ambode as our next governor to head Lagos State and take Lagos to higher heights. I urge each and every Lagosian to get out today and begin your one-man, one-woman campaign for Ambode, and be sure to bring your friends and family along to get the word out about those visionaries who have the wisdom and ability to restore the glory of Nigeria. Vote Buhari for the President of Nigeria and vote Ambode for Lagos State governorship. To each and every Nigerian in diaspora, we cannot vote in this election, but we can show our support for Buhari and APC national government. These are the leaders who can make a brighter, richer Nigerian possible. Let's do what we can to make sure Ambode is able to finish the work started by his predecessor and outgoing governor, Fashola. We can get this right this time around and stop Nigeria from sinking into even more turmoil, chaos, despair over the next 4 years. We can no longer fold our hands from the comfort of our Western homes and shake our heads at the condition of Nigeria. We must join the civil defense and make Nigeria great by helping elect good leaders. Thank you. May God bless each and every one of us, and may God bless Nigeria and our future leaders. You can send me your comments at OneAmazingToyin or Facebook /AmazingToyin Odawodo. Thank you.